Hey, good morning YouTube, what's going on? Today's video is going to be more of a discussion piece, more of a topic I want to discuss with you guys and kind of have some conversation around, because I originally started this channel to do more photography centric stuff, and I've done some of that stuff, but I've also found myself falling back into the gear trap, the gas syndrome that I tried to desperately get myself out of. And as I was up north, I shot with the GX85 and the 20mm f1.7 lens. I'll put the description to the link. I'll put the link up there. And when I was using that camera, and I was forced to use just one small pancake lens that was portable and a body that was small, I could almost like just kind of hide in my pocket. And I was stuck to one focal length with one lens. I started to really adapt to that camera and use it to whatever I could. And I think the photos turned out pretty good. I was pretty happy with what I got. I'm definitely a learning photographer, so I'm not trying to be anything amazing here, but I thought they were good and they captured the vacation in a good way. So then I started thinking to myself, why didn't I bring my Canon EOS RP? I mean, it's the smallest full frame camera that they make out there, right? So if size is the issue, which size is important, why didn't I bring it? And for me, I think mainly is because I don't have a connection with that camera. I've had it now for a month and a half, carried it around quite a bit, shot with it. And it's a great camera. I like that as a flip screen, I like the full frame deal. I hate how Canon neutered the crap out of it. And there's just some things that bother me about it. So let me explain those for a second. The first thing is the burst rate is slow. And not the fact that it's only 5 frames per second or 4 frames per second, which is incredibly slow. It's that after it takes that first shot in tracking or second shot in tracking, it has a tendency to lose the subject, which for me is kind of a big no-go as far as, let me switch hands here. A big no-go as far as tracking my daughter in gymnastics goes. The other thing is, the shutter sounds like it's out of a Fisher-Price toy. The M50 had the same problem. It's like this, it's this very clunky, plasticky sound. It's like if you shoot, I don't know, if you shoot like even a Panasonic camera, the shutter sounds a lot better. You shoot some of the higher end cameras, like the Sony shutter sounds a lot better. It sounds stupid, but it's something that's like reassuring as you take your photo. Okay, so I got to myself thinking, what's my favorite camera shoot? What's the camera I have not changed or even looked at changing at all ever since I've started doing photography? And it's my film camera. One, because it's nostalgic and it's my dad's camera, but the second reason is because it's very mechanical, and in that I feel like I'm making a photo. I gotta set the shutter speed, the ISO is set by the film, I have to set the aperture, I have to focus manually, all this kind of stuff. And I feel like I'm making a photo. It slows me way down. I don't get to review an image on the back screen. I don't get distracted by pixel peeping and blah, 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 blah. And I can't really edit the image either too much. You can edit scans, but I can't edit the image either too much because it's film. It is what it is. And so for me, that camera is the most enjoyable photography experience that I have. So I got to thinking to myself, why am I not happy with the cameras I have? It's not because I'm reading online that there's better, 12 stops of dynamic range versus 14 stops of dynamic range. The A7R4 announcement that just came out did nothing for me, because I don't care about 61 megapixels. I don't care about the fact that it does 9 million stops of dynamic range. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's a great camera, I'm sure, but I'm not spending that kind of money, and it's not gonna make my photography better, and I'm not gonna enjoy the experience a lot more. So I started thinking to myself, what am I missing from this whole thing? And it was very apparent to me that I'm not connected with the cameras I've been trying out lately. And so for that reason, I ended up picking up a different camera recently. And for all you guys here for Micro Four Thirds, don't worry, I still have some of that stuff. But I might be getting rid of my RP in exchange of this. And it happened because I was at the Detroit Zoo, the Woodward camera in Detroit, set up a event that'll let you try different cameras during the day as you're at the Detroit Zoo. So I brought my family. I tried out a bunch of cameras. I tried like the Panasonic S1, S1R. I tried out better lenses from a Canon, which, by the way, glass is king. That's a no-brainer. I can tell you more about that later. And when I held the Panasonic S1, again, the same thing came to me. Fantastic camera. It's a specs beast. Blah 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 blah. But this thing feels big. It feels clunky. It's not something, for me anyways, I'd want to carry around on a regular basis to take pictures of my family or on vacation or travel around with. I just don't want to do it. And the last camera I picked up, because I kind of was reluctant to do this because it doesn't have a flip screen and that kind of stuff, which I think is important because of vlogging or whatever, was the Fujifilm X-T3. I mean, it gets all kinds of reviews. And I was going back from full frame to a crop sensor, so I had that in my head for a second. And I left there feeling like, that's probably the closest camera to a film camera. It's probably the one that makes me feel like I'm making a photo instead of taking a photo the most. And then I got back and I reviewed some of the images. I shot them on the 16 to 55 f2.8 lens that they gave me as a demo. And I just loved the detail, the clarity, the colors, the smoothness, the fall off from the shadows, the highlights, all that stuff. And I ended up picking one up. So I've got my RP, I've got my X-T3, one of them's staying, one of them's going. And I think right now I'm leaning towards the Fujifilm, not only because it's a far more capable camera in terms of video specs and burst rates and all that kind of stuff, but also because I feel like I'm making photos instead of taking photos. And I think that's the point of this video. For anybody suffering from gas like myself, or that's into the specs, I see a lot of people on YouTube that are making videos spec related type stuff. If you're really a photographer and you really want to get down to it, learn your gear, know your gear. It's something I need to do myself, something I need to tell myself. And pick the camera that connects with you so it makes you feel like you're making photos instead of taking photos. That's my discussion for today. If you guys agree, disagree, let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate it. And more photo-centric stuff coming up here in the near future. See you next time.